Hello Internet. Today I want to make a different video compared to what I'm used to do. Since the 3.3 release of Advanced Themer and the release 2.0 from Bricks, a lot of things changed, and I want to do a specific video to review all the builder tweaks and the contextual menu tweaks of Advanced Themer, and a review, making an overview of all the features available for you. Right, so let's start right away, and I want to start by saying, if you go to the theme settings of Advanced Themer, you will notice that there is no structure panel tweaks anymore, and also top bar. I will cover the top bar tweaks in another video. Today I'm focusing on the structure panel ones. So there is no structure panel option tab like it used to be here, because everything has been moved to the builder, right? And if we come to the builder, we'll see that there is now a new icon on the top right of the structure panel here, structure panel menu, and if you open it, you'll see that all the previous tweaks that were available in the theme settings are now available in this menu, okay? But as you see, there are like more than 12 or something tweaks, and you may not know what they are actually doing inside the structure panel. And I want to cover one by one each one of them. So let's, now of course, I want to start by saying I'm not going to go deep in each setting, okay? It would make the video too long, right? So I'm just going to overview the feature, and if you want to go deeper and learn more about it, there are other videos, existing videos or coming videos that will cover it. Okay, so right now we want to start by the structure generator. Okay, so if we open the structure generator, click on the item, and the structure generator is open. In the structure generator, you can basically convert code into brick settings. So, for example, if I do div and a p and then hello internet, okay. By the way, you see that everything is synced inside the preview window, right? And maybe we want to add a class here, so let's say class Maxime, and we will do class Maxime in the CSS, okay, and we will do padding, and let's say 40 pixel, okay, and you see that it applies directly here. And you also have some responsive settings, so you can check it on your default breakpoint, right? You can also use AI to generate your code here. You can also drop an image in this field and ask AI to convert the image into code. Okay, so pretty advanced stuff. And now you have also advanced setting on the right for both the AI prompts, where you can actually tell AI to use your bricks variables, okay, and select the variables categories that you want to integrate in the prompt, and then the AI will tend to use these variables inside the CSS code. The same goes with the colors. You can select the palette that you want to include in the prompt and tell AI to use these variables, these color variables in the code. And then you have import settings, whether you want to include the IDs or exclude them, add the class as CSS class or generate global classes, okay. And once you're done, you just import and close, right? And you see that this code has been now generated by the structure generator where we have our CSS code, Maxim here, right? We have our div and our paragraph, hello internet, right? And you see on the div, we have a new global class created, Maxim, okay? So this is a way to quickly convert code into brick structure, okay? Okay, let's move on. After the structure generator, we have the structure helper. As you see, the three here, there is a separation after the three first icons, okay? Because they are all three modals, 80 modals, okay? The other one, the 5 here, are states. I will cover them after. And then we have tweaks that are generally permanent. You generally don't want one set, you don't usually modify them, okay? While the states are more likely to be changed during your build, okay? So let's move on and go to the structure helper. Let's open the structure helper. Basically, the structure helper is an helper, so it helps you to go through your code depending on some question you may have. So you want basically, for example, sort all the elements with styles on the ID level. If you click on it, it will sort the elements. So right now I have none, but let's say that I'm going to, on this tagline, I'm going to add a 10 pixel margin, okay? Let's reopen now the helper and see if it detects, oh sorry, I added, of course, I have added it on the class, but if I remove and use it on the ID level, okay, I will retype 10 and open the structure helper, you see that now my tagline is highlighted, okay? And this is just one of the example of the things you can filter from your structure, okay? So you can check elements with custom ID, you can check elements that have custom CSS styles, pseudo class styles, or styles on breakpoints. You can check things on global classes, elements that contain interaction, or conditions, or query loops. Or you can also check whether the elements follow a correct non-consecutive headers rule, right? So H2 comes after an H1, H3 after an H2, and make sure that there is no jump between headers, okay? Can check elements that have links, but there is no the red attribute or the title attribute for SEO purposes, right? Or even accessibility rules, so elements with links but with no ARIA label set, or element that contains ARIA in at least one attribute. You can also check the image, the one that are set with lazy loadings or eager loading, okay? And also check for static colors if you want to, for example, if you have a light and dark variation on your site, you want to use variable for this, otherwise you're just calling for troubles. And if you have static colors applied to any element, this is an issue because the color won't change from light to dark, okay? So we want to check on the fly which element contains static colors. You just click on it and it will filter all your structure. Okay, you have a few options here on the right where you want to hide the HTML tag by default. But by the way, we can enable the highlight. It will filter out our results just to have a correct view of the structure, right? You can hide the HTML tags, for example, or you can hide the IDs. These are the IDs, the internal IDs of each element in your structure, okay? By the way, you can just copy the ID to the clipboard by clicking any of these icons on the right? So you can hide the IDs or show the IDs. You can also rename mode. This is really useful, a feature that not many of you may know. But if you are in the rename mode, you can just click here, arrow Maxim, and just do tab, and your next element will will be set to be renamed, and it's super easy to rename things really quickly. Okay, much more easier than using the normal structure from bricks. All right, and the last one is component extended, if you want or not to extend components inside the structure. Right now, I don't have any component inside this structure, but this option will allow you to either collapse or extend components, right? So this is the structure helper. And let's move forward and talk about nested elements. So nested elements may not be that much of a value that now we have components, but there's still a place for them if you want to create nested elements that are not components. Okay, you can either use the default ones that are provided with Advanced Steamer, but you can also create your own nested element. Let's just do a quick example right now, right? I'm going to create a new section, and I'm going to create a block with heading, okay? And I want this block, I will nest the heading inside the block, and I want this block to be reusable, okay? And I want to be as it was an element, okay? Not a component, but an element. So maybe you want to rename Maxim container, and we are going to say here Maxim heading, right? And if you right click on the contextual menu, you have an option here, save as nested element, okay? And it will preview the structure that you are saving, okay? You can give a label, so let's say Maxim container. You can give a category, Maxim elements, for example, and choose an icon. Let's choose this one, for example. And you can add nested element like this, and you see that Maxim elements category has been created with this new Maxim container, right? So now if I save it, and in my build I want to let's remove my section, okay, and create a new one. I want to insert quickly my element created. I just go to the structure panel, nested library, and click on Maxim container, right? And now you see that Maxim container has been correctly added with all the styles and all your settings applied to it. Okay, so this is a way to quickly reuse group of elements on your site and are easily transferable from one site to another. It has a lot of value. Of course, now we have components, so probably most of them are going to be transferred. By the way, if you go to the nested library and you go here, you see that you can convert as component. Okay, if you click on it, Maxim container has been converted as component, and if we go into the components, you see that we have our Maxim container. Okay, for all three models, you see that on the right we have a shortcut. Okay, this shortcut corresponds to the settings you used in the theme settings. So if we go back just a moment in the theme settings, you see that we have keyboard shortcuts, and if you enabled this function, okay, you can set your own keyboard shortcut to open these models. And I'm not sure where they are exactly in the list. Nested element is A, structure generator is C, and we have another structure helper is H, okay? And they all correspond to the shortcut that you see on the right here. And on the end of the item, we have these star icons, right? These star icons represent the shortcuts inside the structure. So if you see in the structure, right now I have a shortcut for structure generator and also for structure helper. Okay, I can decide to remove them if maybe you don't use them a lot. You see that just by unselecting the icon, the shortcuts are removed from the header. Okay, and if I want to add them all on the structure header, we can just enable them. and they will be added to the structure header here. All right. By the way, when you select these shortcuts item, or if you modify any state from the structure, it saves on the fly. You don't need to click any save button. You don't need to go to the admin area. You just change your state or your icons and you're good to go. If you reload the builder, they will be persistent. Okay, they are automatically saved to your database or to your local storage. Right? So right now maybe, yeah, it's a bit, how to say, overloading right now. So I'm going to remove the modal shortcuts that we just covered. Okay. Oh, by the way, a little precision here. You see that we have an icon documentation. So for any of the features inside the structure panel, if you are not sure what they are about, you can just click on the documentation and it will open the correct link on the Advanced Steamer website, where you can get some information about each setting. Okay, so let's remove this for now. And let's move on and talk about the tag manager. Okay, tag manager that by default is set on mode developer. And you see that on mode developer, we have these tags on the structure that show the HTML tag of each element. And since it is on the developer mode, if you click on any tag name, it will open a drop down where you can select your custom tag. So if I want to rename this section and to be a div, I just click on the div and you see that my element changed to a div. And if I want to do a custom tag, say Maxim tag, okay, I just enter this and it will change to Maxim tag. Of course, Maxim tag is not a valid tag, and you probably need, when using custom tag, you need to use a Bricks filter to allow specific tags on the front end for security reasons. But here, nothing stop you from using custom tags here, right? So the tag manager icon on the top is this one. If you click on it, you see that we change the mode. So now we cover the developer, where we can change the tag on the drop down. But maybe you just want to see the tags, but actually not open the drop down when you accidentally click on it, right? So this is an overview mode, where we see the tags and there are no colors on it. But if you click on any of the tags, it won't open any drop down, and you will have to change the custom tags from the settings on the left, right? So this is overview. And if you just don't want to see any tags, you just set it on mode none, and no tags are showing the structure, right? So while I was clicking on the header icon, you can do exactly the same from the structure panel, the structure menu, sorry. You just click on the item and you see that the mode here will change from none to overview to developer, and you just choose whatever setting you prefer. Right, so this is for the tag manager. Now let's speak about notes. So actually in Advanced Steamer, you can add notes to your elements. And if we go, let's close this. And if we go here, you see that on the bottom of the left panel, we have a note tab. And you can say, you can write admin notes. So notes that only admins will read. Or editor notes. These are notes that only your editors will be able to read. Okay, so if I say admin note for Maxim, and this is an editor note for Maxim. Okay, so once you set your admin notes or your editor notes, by just hovering on the icon on the right, you should see the notes on the structure, okay? So you can give either admins or editor some suggestion from the structure panel, and this helps you to keep your your structure organized and easy to use for the people working with you, right? So this is for the nodes. Let's move on and talk about element order. So by default, the element order is unlocked. That means that you can move any item from the structure panel here, right? But as soon as you click on elements order locked, you are not able to move anymore. Even if I drag this image somewhere in the structure, it will make it unable to move. Okay, so this can be useful when, for example, your structure is on place, you don't need to move things around, and you want to avoid any accidental click that will mess your design, right? You just lock the structure, and you have no worries to have when it comes to breaking the layouts by moving things around, right? Okay, this is element order. Let's move on and talk about the sticky CSS, which is a quite recent feature added to Advanced Themer. Basically, when it's enabled, let's just click enabled. Okay, you will see in the structure panel as soon, right now I have no elements selected, so you don't see it. But as soon as I click on an element, you'll see this new panel. Sorry, let's for now disable the other one. You will see this panel, which is a CSS editor, okay, and you can apply CSS values on the fly. So it works like the custom CSS on the left panel. You can just do root and apply maybe background color red, and you see my background color is applying to my class here, right? But if you want to change it to the ID, you see that you have a selector here, or if you have several, let's say you have another class, let's say Maxime class, that we already created before, and now if I open my selector, I can select the classes that I want to edit, right? And I can say, again, background blue, and my background will be applied to Maxime, right? So this is a shortcut. You see that I'm not in the CSS tab right here, but I can use CSS, sticky CSS to write any code at any moment, okay? The P here is a shortcut to the plain class. So if you want to select a class from the plain class model, you can just open it from here. Okay, and you have also features from here. Probably not going to review every one of them because they are also similar to the Superpower CSS feature in Advanced Themer that are already covered in the past. But just the main one, okay, in a few seconds. So you can add the root by clicking on this item, which is a shortcut to be more productive, right? And you can put this editor in full screen if you need. If you need more space, you just click on this item. You go on full space. When you're done, you just re-click on the full screen and back into the sticky view, right? And the third one, which is the one more interesting for sticky CSS, is the computed CSS. So if you click on it, right now on this section on Maxime, I have no style applied. Let's see if I go into Hero 83, which is a Brixie's template. You see that I have actually two styles applied: the padding block start and the padding block end. If I go to the layout, I can see that these styles are applied inside my my controls. Okay, so if you jump on any element while computed CSS is enabled, you will see all the styles applied to this this element. So of course it shows only the computed one, so that means that you can't edit right here. You can't just change grid to flex and it will apply to the style. It's just showing the styles applied. If you want to change it, you have to either go away from the computed CSS mode and just write your code here, okay, or you just go to the control of bricks and change it from here. Okay? This is for sticky CSS. Let's move on, disable sticky CSS and talk about visibility floating bar. So this is, by default, it's enabled, okay? And just have to click on it to disable or enable it. And it refers to this feature, right? And this feature is visible only when an element is selected. So if I unselect the element, you see that it hides automatically. Once an element is selected, you can change the visibility value of this element. You can either apply display none to it. So if I click on it, display none is automatically activated. You see that display none is activated here. And I just want to display it again. I just click on it again, okay? But you can also change the builder visibility. So you may want to just hide it inside the builder, but show it in the front end. And so you just click on it here, and it will hide it in the builder. Actually, you see on the left panel, if you go here, click on hide element, you see that we have new option in Bricks 2.0, and the builder hide element is correctly activated. And if I remove it, you'll see that it's automatically deselected. And you have also the second one, the front end. So you want to see it on the builder, but not on the front end. Maybe you want to draft this section until it's ready, and when it's ready, you want to publish it. And in the meantime, you can modify the builder while it's hidden on the front end. Okay, so all these settings inside the visibility bar are available for quick access. Okay. Then let's move on to the let's remove for now any shortcuts from the header, right? And let's just focus on the tweaks. So right element shortcuts is really popular, and you see all the tweaks are activated by default, okay? Because I believe they are creating no harm and just benefits. But if you are somehow annoyed by some of them, you can just disable and it will work on the fly, right? So the right element, you see that if I disable this right element here, this bar, correspond to the right element, and the right element is really convenient when it comes to adding quick elements to your page. Okay, so if I want to add a section and then a block and then a heading, basic text, etc., it's really convenient compared to going to the elements component, search your element in here and go back on the right. It's really faster, right? Keep in mind that you can customize a list of icons on the top bar. You just have to go in the shortcut settings here, click on it, and you see that you can now manage which element you want to see inside the bar, okay? So let's say I want to have the rich text and the text link and the video, all right? Save it, close, and now I have my rich text, text link, and video. And if I want to rearrange the icons, I just move them around, okay? And I want my video to be the first one, okay? Just save and close, and now my video is the first one of the right bar, right? Another feature from the right sidebar is activated cable shortcuts. So by default, it's deactivated to avoid any conflict with your when writing text, right? But when it's activated, you can actually press the shift command, and you see that on the side of each element, you will see cable shortcuts, okay? And now if I do shift and V, it will add the video just by clicking on the shortcuts. I didn't click on the icon, right? And you can do the same for, let's say, section block and heading. So S, B, and H. let's do S, sorry, I'm not here anymore, S container B and H, and I have my container block and heading, okay, just using the keyboard shortcuts. All right, so let's move on and talk about the styles and class indicators. Again, it's a really popular feature because you usually want to know on the fly which element contain styles on the ID level or on the class level. Okay, so when added, if I'm here on the section and I add an ID style, okay, I don't have any class added to this element, and I'm going to add 100 margin top, you see that on the right we have here a style indicator that some ID style have been added to the element, right? And now if I want to create a global class, I will say, or create or add a global start, I will add Maxim, okay? And now if I come back to the right, you see that I have another indicator on the left, this blue bar, that indicates that a global class has been added. And by the way, let's remove it and add a CSS class now, which is, sorry, I'm using AT, so class and ID, and I had Maxim here, and you see that again, my indicator shows that a class has been added to this element. Okay, so with these indicators, you see on the fly which element contains a global class or ID styles applied to it, right? If you don't want them, you can just click on the styles and class indicators, and as you see, no more indicators here. I'm going to remove the tag manager for now, so it just basic bricks settings. I will also remove the notes, so no icons on there. Okay, this is the basic structure of bricks. Now let's speak about expand all children elements. So this is a feature that allows you, for example, let's close anything, all the elements of this element, okay, of this section. Once they are all collapsed, okay, if you want to target the more nested elements inside, you have to open one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are 4 clicks to target the heading, right? But with the expand all children feature, you have a new icon on the right, okay, which is called expand. Okay, just click on it and you'll see that it will expand all the children from this element. Okay, this is useful because maybe you don't want to expand all your features, your structure, okay, because there are a lot of elements here to handle. You just want to open a specific section, so you just click expand this one, and it will expand all the children of this specific section. Okay. Okay, let's move on and talk about the draggable structure panel. So once it's enabled, you can just double click on the structure here, and you see that it's detached from the builder. And actually, if you keep holding the left click of your mouse and move the structure, you can move it and position it where you want. Okay, and as soon as it's detached, you see that there is a wider preview to see the website. If you double click again, it will stack the structure again on the right. Okay, so small feature, but can be convenient when you need to move your structure. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the link indicator. Okay, so once enabled and you use a link, let's use a link for this one. Let's add a link here. Let's say an internal link. And if when I do this, you see that there is a new icon here that shows that there is a link. Okay, and once you do this, like I showed you before, we can open the structure helper and see that elements are wrapped on the list on the link, and you see that now our heading is wrapped inside the link. Okay, so it's easier for you to see them. Okay, let's move on and talk about the focus mode. Focus mode is really interesting feature because, like in this example, we have a lot of elements, but some maybe you want to just focus on a particular container, for example, and not be distracted by other elements in the structure. Okay, to do this, you just use the key shorts, Command Shift, and then click on any element from the structure. Okay, so let's click on these container buttons. Once I click here, you see focus mode activated, and we just see the container. Nothing changed, nothing is removed, but you just see less elements and focus on these ones, and you can select them and edit them like normal. Okay, you have on the right of the focus mode, you have few options. You can, for example, jump to parent. So let's say, okay, I modified this container, but I want to modify the parent. Just click on it, and it will jump on the parent of the selected focus, right? And you can also apply on iframe or not. So let's copy this section, right? And this one we are going to put a background just to make sure you see the difference, right? So I'm going to say background, this background here, right? I'll put it on the class, sorry. So let's put it on the ID. Right, so let's choose this one. Okay. So now we have two sections, Hero Maxim. Let's rename in 1 and 2. Yeah. Let's rename it here 2. Okay. Let's remove the other one so they are not in our way. Okay. So let's expand everything. Okay, and I just want to focus on the container, this container. Okay, just applying the focus mode, and when apply on iframe is enabled, you see that the other section is hidden. I'm just focusing on the section where the focus is made, right? If I deactivate apply on iframe, I will see all the rest of the preview. Okay, so you can decide whether you want to apply this focus mode on the preview window too, or only inside the structure. Okay, and by the way, you can apply the focus mode when clicking inside the preview. So if you use the same key shortcuts, so command and click, and I'm going to target this heading, sorry, you see that it reflects correctly inside here. And I could go to parent and see all the current focus section. Right? So focus is a pretty useful feature in Advanced Schemer. The filterable structure panel. So as you see, when it's enabled, you have a filter here, capacity. When it's toggled off, there is no input in the structure anymore. But let's enable for now, and let's see what it does. So you can search by a lot of things using this filter, and we have a drop down here that show all the possibilities. So you can filter by name, by label, by HTML tag, by global class, by CSS class, text content, CSS ID, bricks ID, and data attribute. Okay, so let's do all for now. So if you want to just filter by CSS class, you will in this case click on CSS class, but right now we want to filter everything here. Okay, and I'm going to search for the label, for example tagline. Okay, and if I write tagline, I will show these two taglines. Okay, if I now want to filter all the icon elements, okay, I just say icon here, and you see that they are the icon elements, but also icon which are contained in the label. Okay, but it's correct. And now I have a Maxim class. I want to say Maxim, and you say you see that we have a container called Maxim, and we also have this element that contains the Maxim class. Okay, so it's an easy way to filter and easily find the elements inside the structure by using the keywords. Right, let's move on and talk about highlight global classes. So as you see right now, I have Hero 83 selected, and I have this blue outline outside, and you see that I have another element that shares the same class. Okay, so as soon as I have this class selected, this feature will highlight all the other elements that also contain the same class. Okay, so now if I switch to Maxim, it will still show the same, but if now I remove the global class, I deselect them, let's say, you see that the highlight disappeared. So it's a quick way to see inside the structure which elements share the same global class that is currently selected, right? Now, highlight nestable element. For this, I'm going to actually create a nestable element, and let's go to here and search for nestable. Okay, and we can say accordion, for example. Okay, once it's maybe the color is not clear, but you see in an accordion it can be really messy really quickly. Okay, this is a simple example, but it can take a lot of elements inside your accordion, right? And sometimes you need to go back to the root element, the accordion one, because you need to set some settings on the main element, right? But it's not really easy when you have a lot of nested elements to understand where the actual root element is, right? And with this feature, the root element has this blue color on the icon that will show you where the nestable root element is inside your structure. Okay, it is a small improvement, but useful in some cases. Now highlight parent elements. So you see that when I let's say I click on icon, you'll see that there is a small background color on all the parents of this element. So titles is a parent, item, and accordion. Okay, if I click on this other icon, okay, you see that the direct parent is title here, this time item, and then accordion. So this is an highlight of your structure to quickly show which parents are related to the selected element, right? And the final one, highlight hidden removed elements. Like we just showed before, if I want to hide an element on the builder, okay, let's remove the feature for now, so you see how bricks manage these settings, all right? And let's go to the hide element settings of bricks and click on hide element inside the builder. You see that there is an opacity applied in the builder, okay? And if you hover it, the opacity is removed. But it's not really clear. Now let's do the same from front end. Okay, front end, nothing changed. Okay, if I remove builder here, you see that nothing changed. It's still using the opacity. Okay, so you don't have a way in bricks to see on the fly inside the structure which element has been hidden inside the structure or which one has been disabled on the front end. And so if you activate now the hidden removed element, okay, you will see different colors based on which option are actually applied. So right now, since front end has been applied, it will show all the elements that has been removed from the front end in red, right? And if I deselect this one and just the builder will show in orange. Okay, so you can let's keep this one on the builder and the other one on the front end. Okay, front end here, and let's expand all, and you see we clearly see that the first one are hidden inside the builder and the other one are hidden inside the front end from the structure, okay, without going deep inside the settings and see which setting is applied to which one. It's becoming really hard to keep track, right? Okay, this is all for the structure panel feature. Let's just quickly review the contextual feature. Okay, so let me re-enable this one. Oh, actually, let's delete this one and keep this one normal. Okay, let's remove also the accordion. We don't need it anymore. Right, so Advanced Steamer, of course, add some feature to the contextual menu. The contextual menu is the one when you right-click, it will open this contextual menu, and some features are added by Advanced Steamer. I'm going to quickly review them, really quickly, because it's already 15 minutes. I will try to not go over 1 hour. Okay, so we have these move items. So you see, let's say the tagline here, right click, you see that you have option to move actually the element inside the structure from these really easy buttons. Okay, you have all of these features are modals. So you have the extended class and styles. If you open this, you can actually extend the class from these elements to other elements in the DOM, okay? And not going to review everything from here, but you can extend classes. You can also extend styles. So if you want to extend a specific style from this element to other elements in the page, you have option to do this from this extend classes styles modal, right? Let's move on and find and replace. It's a bit the same. So instead of extending, you will find the value. Let's say, for example, primary. Okay, and now let's say I want to change all the values, all the controls that includes var primary, and I want to change them to var secondary. I can do this. I can select which property I want to focus on, or just all, and to apply them on which element of the page, or choose all, and where they are positioned inside the DOM, and then it will replace this value from primary to secondary. So it's really useful, for example, if you change a prefix of a variable or the variable name and you want to change it on all your page, just do a final replace and you're good to go. Okay, let's move on and talk about the class converter. This is a complex feature, but basically you just have to but right now let's create a new, all these items have a global class, so let's create a new section. No, not a video. Here it is. Let's remove this video and let's create a section. Okay, and let's do adding basic text and a button. Okay, let's say now I want to quickly create global classes, okay, and add them to all of these items. I just can right click and activate the class converter, and you see now that we have options to create a global class on each of these elements. So you can change the base name to say Maxime, and it will change the base name, and the delimiter, it can be a simple thing like this, or the BEM delimiter normal like this. Okay, and you can copy over the ID styles to the class. You can erase the ID styles from the elements since you just moved to a class, and you can also sync the labels from these ones, okay, to the structure panel. Okay, if you create classes here now, you'll see that let's enable the style and class indicators. You see that there is a global class created on each element, and it follows the instructions. So Maxime, Maxime container, Maxime heading, Maxime text basic, and Maxime button, right? So, not going to go too much in deep with the class converter because there are a lot of things to say. There are dedicated videos about it, but it's really important. One of the most useful features from Advanced Themer. Okay, let's move on. We were talking about the contextual menu. So, style overview, really useful feature that allows you, once open, you see that you have an overview of the styles applied to each element. So we have here a structure where you see by default there are the indicators, and you see, let's say, the tagline. You see that we have no style applied. Oh, actually we have a style applied on it, okay, but right now it's locked, but you can unlock it, okay. We have this margin logical block start, sorry. You can change the value from here, actually, if you want to change 10 from 50, okay. And now let's see how it was applied. I just have to click on the property and it will open. I need to check the ID styles, of course. And if we check here, we see that our value 50 has been correctly updated from the style overview. Okay, so it's really handy to have this view where all the styles are listed from all your classes. You see that we have two classes attached to this element, and we see all the elements, all the styles for each class. And by the way, you can actually copy styles from different breakpoints. So for example, if I want to move these space M variables and move them from the desktop and apply it to Maxime on the mobile or the tablet, I just copy and paste the styles, and you see that really quickly I can apply these styles to the correct view. All right, you can of course see the styles on the normal view, but also on pseudo elements, so over, active, focus, before, after. And if you have all the global pseudo elements, it will show inside this view. Okay, and you can also see the computed CSS value. So if you click on the CSS, you'll see the CSS produced by Bricks. And you see that in Maxime, we just put this on the tablet view, on the mobile landscape, sorry, and you see the CSS computed style for the Maxime class. All right, this is particularly useful when you see conflicting CSS, or if you want to manage efficiently your CSS between different classes applied to an element. It's really useful. All right, let's move on and talk about the component class manager, which is really a neat feature, because instead of opening the all class manager with all the classes here, okay, which can be messy, you can just open the class manager, but just for this component. So if you open here, you see that we only see the Maxime classes, and we can do bulk actions, we can duplicate, modify, find and replace, do everything on these classes on a component restricted by the component, which can be really useful. All right, and save as netted element. I already talked about it. Just a couple more. We have the past here. This is an icon from AT where you can paste libraries. Let's say, let's take another example from Brixis, and let's take this, okay, this one. And in my settings, I have, I was here. All right. In my settings, I have the logical properties enabled, which is a setting in Advanced Themer. And so if I want to convert all the directional properties into logical properties, okay, let's delete this. I can just, I need one. I can just use these convert logical properties, okay, click into it, and you'll see that all are, I'm going to remove this video. Now, if I go to here, I believe let's check where is the styles. Okay, and let's go back in the normal view, Bricks view. Okay, here you see, for example, that this hero section, hero 82, used to have a directional property, which is the max width, and it has been converted to the max inline size, which is the correct property for logical properties, right? And my design is looking good, even if we are now using logical properties. Okay, so this is an option in AT, and a recent one is this button next to the delete section, and it gives you the ability to remove the section in the structure panel, but also the class attached to these elements. Okay, so let's say right now, let's expand everything. Okay, I have these 82 classes. If I open the class manager and go uncategorized and search for 82, I will see all these classes, right? Let's say that I don't want to use this component anymore. Okay, but I won't use it, so I want to remove the classes attached to these elements. I just have to click on this icon. Okay, it's correctly removed, and if I reopen now the class manager, you see that I have no 82 classes anymore, because they have been moved to the trash automatically. Okay, so this is a way to avoid any orphans class and uselessly bloat your global list with classes that you will never use again. Okay. Now the last one, I would say, I believe it's the last one, is there is a converter in Advanced Steamer. You see that we have a convert item inside the contextual menu that allows you to convert heading, text basic, and text switch elements. So let's say that you create an heading, but you figured out that now it needs to be a basic text instead. You just go there and click basic text, and all your text will remain the same, but just the type of element will change. Okay, and you can do this the same for rich text. You see that the heading is still the same, the content is still the same, but now this element is a rich text. Okay, so it's a basic text converter basically. Okay, all the rest I believe is from Bricks. All right. I'm going to stop here. I'm just a little more than 1 hour, but we covered a lot of feature, and again, I didn't even touch the more advanced feature in each of these one. Okay, just to make you understand how rich these features are in advanced Advanced Steamer. Sorry, I myself now a bit tired to speak about all these features, but I hope you get an overview, a clear view of which tweak does what. Okay, and if you want to, if you are interested in some of them, you can just spend a little bit of more time to go further, read the documentation, watch some videos, and see what it can do, like the class converter, the style overview. These features are rich. The structure generator, I just touch it really, but if you apply AI to it, it's a lot of things to do with it. Okay, so my recommendation is be curious, test it on yourself, touch the limit of each feature. And if you think about new things to add, if you have ideas to make each tweak even more helpful for you and the community, don't hesitate to send me an email, to contact me, and suggest me things to get the plugin better and better in each release. Okay, guys, I'm stopping here. I wish you a nice day and take care. Bye bye.